everyone, it's me, Spring, the fiber enthusiast, and welcome to the channel. Welcome one, welcome all. I want to welcome the new people and everybody from the beginning to now to in the future. If you are poking your head in to see what happens in this channel and kind of curious, welcome in. And I hope that you find something that you like and can stick around for some more things. If you're looking for something in particular as far as knitting and crocheting and tatting and weaving and spinning and dyeing and all this other stuff, comment down below and let me know. I do have 2 requests that I will be working on as soon as I finish up the tutorials that I'm working on now, and a few other things that I've got going on. I will begin those. There are some new things happening in the channel. We'll get to that in a moment, as well as some upcoming tutorials and just overall, what is this channel about? Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we have here pattern tutorials, my patterns, as well as stitch tutorials, or a stitch tutorial kind of combined with a little bit of a idea for a pattern and a couple other ideas. That's usually Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And what I mean by that is this past Tuesday, and I've done this a few different times. I don't have any others in front of me at the moment, but I'll work up a stitch pattern and I'll be like, I really want to record this stitch pattern for a tutorial so others can see how it's worked up. And then I'm like, ooh, you know what? It would be really neat as. And then I'll create whatever it is, but I'll combine the 2 together because it's a real simple make. And you can take that stitch tutorial and turn it into something when you're done. So that's one of the things I did this past week. This is the Tunisian pebble stitch. And as you can see, it's got a lot of texture there. So these are really, really, really great for mug rugs, as well as hot pads. Or you could make it really long and put handles on it and turn it into a back scrubby. I mean, there is all kinds of things that you could do with this. You could make it into a larger piece, maybe even use some like blanket yarn or t-shirt yarn to do it with, and use it as a floor mat in the bathroom because it's so textured and it feels so cool. So that's what I meant by sometimes I take and combine a stitch with just a little bit of something that turns it into a small, like, sample. If you follow along with me, you have this mug rug, or you can do just the stitch and practice the stitch. But I like to give ideas as how you can use it and create something else. You could put 2 together and sew around the outsides except one end and have it as a 2-sided scrubby. I mean, there are so many things. When I'm working on something, my brain is thinking about 500 other designs. So that was this past week, if you didn't see it, and it is Tunisian crochet, but it's done, those were done with a standard aluminum hook. No ergonomic handles, just a standard aluminum hook. So you can do it with just an aluminum hook. You don't need any specific super special tools to make that mug rug. Now, if you wanted to make it bigger, you would have to have an adjustment and get like an Afghan hook or Tunisian cabled hook or something like that. Okay, so that was this past week. And also the heels to the socks, and you can see I'm well past the heels now. This was the shadow wrap heel. Love it. Absolutely love it. So my knitters out there, that shadow wrap heel, if you've never done socks, and you really would like to do socks, I would suggest, I know this may seem a little out there for some, but I would suggest trying this one first. Try this heel first. Very easy to follow and find your stitch count, where you're at. Very easy to create the short rows. It is a short row style heel. Very, very nice. And there's no holes. When you get done with the heel, there is no holes. So that makes it really, really nice as well. So I did that tutorial, and as you can see, I have worked well past the heel. I've got about 2 inches left before I do the toes and cast off, or should I say Kirchner off. So that was a couple of things this past week. There was also the Tunisian cowl that I did harvest season. That was on Monday, and I've already got a couple pictures that have popped up of those that are working on it. Thank you for working on that pattern, and I am excited. So far, your work looks just fabulous. So that's some of the things that have happened over this past week, the tutorials that were available. And on Thursday night, Spin and Chat, so it's a live 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I go live, I spin yarn. Sometimes it's on an electric spinning wheel, and so most of the time it is, because it's easier for me to spin on the electric spinning wheel and kind of try to keep up with the chat. It is more difficult to keep up with the chat when I'm using a manual spinning wheel. It can be done. It's just bear with me as I try to do both. But so that's kind of fun as far as trying to keep up with the chat and the manual spinning wheel, but it is a lot of fun to be able to interact with each and every one of you. I want to thank y'all for coming over and hanging out with me. You guys are great. Absolutely fantastic. Lots of laughs and joking around. It's not all spinning yarn related. We do try to keep it as close to fiber arts content as possible, but you know, there's always the squirrel here and squirrel there, and we have a lot of giggles, a lot of laughs, lots of fun. But this is what I finished filling the bobbin from last Thursday, this past Thursday. Finished filling it up. And then we have our Sunday podcast. As I said, it goes over what I've been up to over the past week, what's coming up, things like that. Now, if you're still here and listening to me ramble, thank you very much for hanging out with me. We do have an upcoming pattern. It was shared in the Instagram. It was shared in the Facebook group. And I did share it a little bit on the Thursday night live this past Thursday. It is whipped strawberries shawl, and this uses 1 full bobbin plus 24 grams. The bobbin is Premier bobbins, which I don't think they sell them anymore, but I had one that was so graciously gifted to me and I wanted to use it. So here we are. I will also insert a couple of pictures. Okay, so that is a pattern coming up. It will be done in 2 parts. I highly suggest looking in the description box of part 1. That's going to tell you the hook size, the yarn that I used, how much I used, how many rows I did, that type of information. So definitely check that out before you jump into making it. That way you have an idea as to how much yardage or grams you will need. for part 2. In part 1, I state that I wasn't going to make another one, but for those of you that have been around, you're shaking your head going, yeah, right, Spring, you always make 2 of everything. Yes. So we have green apple ombre. This is what the tutorial is being made with. That tutorial, I'm using this yarn, and now it's about 100 yards less, so it will be a little bit smaller when I'm done with it, but I am working on it and will complete the trim work part of the tutorial for the following week. So this is upcoming. I completed the purple one and started and have got this far on this one. I only have this much left, not much, and the green part of that will be done, and then I just got to put the trim on it. Okay, that's all for what I've been up to this past week. It's kind of a little bit of everywhere. New things for the channel. For those of you that are just joining the channel and this is your very first podcast, please understand that this part right here is not normal. This is an added part to my podcast for today only. Mention of it will be short, brief in any other videos after this. But I want to go a little bit into depth and give you a little explanation. What am I talking about? Okay, so what I'm talking about, some of you have already seen me posting the links on Instagram, posting the links in the Facebook group, in the community tab. Some of you have already seen that. What is the link? It's for Patreon. I'm not a fan of memberships. For someone like myself, I put every hour, every minute of every second that I have available into this channel. I spend hours upon hours upon hours every day. If I'm not taking care of animals, I am working on content for this channel or taking care of my house. Most of my time is spent in this room, and I'm putting content out. So for me to have memberships, it would take away from me putting into patterns and designs and stuff like that to give you something as far as a private live or something extra for memberships. And I don't feel that I have anything left to give as far as time. I am completely thinned out. My time is spread very, very thinly. And when I do get those free moments, it's very rare and very far and few between. So with that being said, I decided to go with Patreon. And I created a Patreon for those that have asked me to do memberships. Those of you that want to be a part of and support this channel, that is going to be a help and assistance to this channel to help replace some of the product that I use to create content. Because I'm here to tell you, as a small content creator, you do not, as a monetized small content creator, if you get a check once every other month, you're lucky for $100. The general rule is about every 4 months, you see a $100 paycheck. And I'm not saying this asking for money. I'm being transparent and very honest. And if anybody wants to see, I will gladly show you my Google AdSense. I just want to bring that to your attention as to why I am choosing to add the Patreon to the channel. What it is for is to help support or offset the personal costs that I have going into the yarn and product to make content. So a lot of times when I'm doing big patterns like this, I'm using off my shelf and it's not getting replaced for months. So that, with that being said, that's why I decided to go ahead and create the Patreon. Never, ever feel obligated to do anything other than just say, hey, I appreciate you watching from start to finish. All of your content creators appreciate your time and value you very much watching a video from start to finish, giving the thumbs up and also commenting. All of those things allow other people to see your content more often. So it's very much appreciated. This is just an additive to, an add-on, should I say, to the channel. As things progress, we'll see how it goes. It'll either get removed completely or I will add more tiers. As the beginning, it suggests that you do one tier and then grow from there. See how it goes and grow from there. So that's what we have. We have one tier. I would suggest going over, reading the homepage description, reading the about description, and make that choice on your own, whether or not that's something that you want to do for this channel. Completely optional. So for anybody watching my podcast for the first time, that is a very in-depth. The only thing you're going to hear from now on, from this point forward, as long as I have the Patreon going, is you will see in the credits at the end of my Sunday podcast and potentially even my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday videos. You will see a credits at the end. That credits will be credit to Patreon members and the names will be listed, giving credit where credit is due. As far as the Sunday podcast, mentioning it, it will be, don't forget to check out the links below where you can find me. You can also support the channel by checking out the Patreon. This is what you're going to hear from me from this point forward. I just wanted to give a little bit more information as to why I created the Patreon for the channel. That way, from my mouth to your ears, there it is. All right. So as always, we have some pictures that I turn into a slideshow and they become my Sunday slideshow. Those pictures are from you, the viewers. Thank you for sharing your work with the rest of us and for sharing it with me so I can put it into a slideshow to share with you all. So upcoming, we have a slideshow at the end of the podcast that goes and shares with you all these pictures of people's work. If you would like to get in on that, you can join the Facebook group or you can share them with me in an email. You can also tag me on Instagram. Any of the ways that you do that, please give me your YouTube name so that way I can tag you specifically for sharing your work and so that way I can address you as you are seen in YouTube. That way nobody is getting any names they shouldn't be getting. My government legal name is not Spring the Fiber Enthusiast, and I'm not putting my last name there for a reason. I appreciate not using it. So thank you all. For those of you that do know, thank you for not using my last name. It's just a security thing for you guys as well as myself. So that's why I ask for your YouTube name. I just want to make sure and address you as you want to be seen through your YouTube. You don't have to have content, but everybody that is here on YouTube has a channel, and your channel name is important. So just add that into the description when you share your pictures, please. I will do my best to make sure that I tag everybody accordingly. If I don't have the YouTube name, I'll put the first name of the person and the first initial, and hopefully you know who it is. But all right, everybody, I have kept you far too long. I want to tell each and every one of you, thank you. I sincerely thank you for your time, each and every one of you. Be blessed, be a blessing, and until next time, bye for now.